Get it right in a minute. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our pop-up live. Now, I will explain what's happened is we were scheduled to do an interesting modelling company Sunday service this evening, but because I do another occasional webcast, we're doing some stuff to do with the general election about wildlife issues. And unfortunately, one of the guests that we've been trying to get on, they're only available this evening. So sorry, interesting modelling company fans, we had to bounce the webcast tonight, which is why we're doing a pop-up live at the moment by way of recompense. So anyway, so what I thought we'd do is do a short show this evening, a mercifully short show this evening, and actually just go through some of the projects I've got here, which for some reason have stalled, or they've just become shelf of doomers, or in the case of the AMX I'm looking at the moment, waiting for a canopy. So we will, let's crack on. Let's just say a big hello to everybody who's tuned into this. So Jim Altergott says, what's all this? What's all this then? Indeed. Hobby Time said, hi, Jem, nice to see you again, lol. Robert Johnson says, turn on the camera and join your friends online. I don't know about that one. Mark Smith, he knows the show, scrolls down. Nick Brown says, hello, early today. Now, this is a pop-up live. Like I say, it's a pop-up live because I can't do a proper live show tonight because of other commitments. Well, I'll explain what it is. I do a wildlife webcast for the local area. And I do a wildlife webcast, everybody, with an actual proper professional wildlife broadcaster. So we've been doing stuff to do with the election, and we've been trying to get as many candidates on as possible, and it's just slotting them in as and when they're available. So our man tonight can only make tonight, so do apologize. Anyway, shall we switch to the workbench camera? Let's actually talk about some modeling, shall we? And where are we with projects at the moment? Well, he said, trying to, oh, hang about. That's what we're looking for. So these are my Model U figures. Unfortunately, I made a right hash of painting them, so I've started again. So this WAF here has had a base coat of Vallejo. Let's have a look. It's Vallejo Flesh, I do believe. There we go. Vallejo Flat Flesh. So that was a couple of well-thinned and brush coats that were put onto the face. Oh, let's just zoom out a bit. Zooms out. But absolutely, I mean, for 3D printed figures, the detail on these is absolutely beautiful. So we have the lady with the clipboard, and then we have these two, lady with a spanner and somebody working on a wing or a fuselage or something. So I've just got the flesh areas painted up at the moment, and what I'm going to do is I'll do my trick of giving them a sludge kind of mix of burnt sienna oil paint and let that dry for a couple of hours, then scrub most of it off with a fairly stiff brush so that you're left with the remnants kind of in the shadow areas, but it also just kind of blends it a bit more. It's a Verlinden trick from years ago, but I've been using it for the best part of 30 years, so I am going to cheat on these ones and just do that in order to get them painted. But as you can see, if you've not seen or tried these Model U figures, they are absolutely beautiful. I mean, goodness me, I don't know if we can, I'm just going to see if we can actually zoom in to the, no, I haven't got the camera's not close enough today, but just there where you've got that kind of like gap in the sleeve, there's no way you could injection mold that. These are fabulous. These are just, yeah, I really need to pull my finger out and actually get on with some figure painting. So on the list of shelf of doomers, there are these. And oh, hello, we've lost the feed there for a second. And also on the shelf of doomers, started this one 5 years ago. I know. Started this one 5 years ago it was the Milton Keynes model show, would you believe? It is Dragon's Jeep, the 35th scale Jeep, or how do they describe it? I think they describe it as a four-wheel truck or something for rights reasons. This is the armoured version, and as you can see, it's... Oh, we've got a bit of a blib there. As you can see, it's been given a base coat of olive drab, and the base coat reaches up. The base coat of olive drab is actually Vallejo's polyurethane surface primer, which I get on with. I wouldn't use it as a primer, but it's good for base coats. You try sanding it, it'll just shred. But as you can see, when it's something like this, it gets the color down, and it gets it down in volume as well. What can I say about Dragon's Jeep? It is beautifully detailed, but oh my goodness me, is it finicky. And also, being a Dragon kit, of course, the instructions are all over the place. So yeah, that's why this has been stalled now for the best part of half a decade. We will, I say we, you know what I mean, this will be finished off at some stage, because my plan is hopefully to get to the end of the year and have absolutely as few shelf of doomers as possible. So I'd like to get this one painted up and done. I may even cover it with a whitewash just to kind of, like, you know, break the thing up a bit more. It will, of course, be absolutely plastered with mud and pigments and dirt. And yeah, I mean, these things were driving through sludge and wet snow, and, you know, it's in mud and everything. So it's going to be a grubby little Jeep. But yeah, it's just the frustrating thing with Dragon is that sometimes their kits, they have the best intentions, but they are just a little bit overcomplicated. The little tarp you can see there, that little bit of cloth or whatever, that was a spare bit of epoxy putty that I decided to, rather than ball it up and throw it in the bin, I decided to put it to good use. So I made like a little tarp there. So yeah, I want to get that one finished. I mean, goodness me, how far away from being finished is this? It's probably a couple of nights. Perhaps what I'll do is, perhaps I'll have prom projects, because the BBC prom starts in a couple of weeks' time. So perhaps I'll have projects where I just sit in the workshop and kind of noodle on with them. But yeah, I promise you, we will get that one done. So let's just have a quick look at the comments and make sure you're all behaving yourselves. I'm just trying to say, where are we? Jim Altegott says, I built that model, some of the worst instructions I've ever had to translate. They're not brilliant. I mean, I don't know what it is with Dragon. They do mold beautiful kits, it's got to be said, but something happens where whether the instructions guys don't check with people. I think it's I'm just having a look to see if I can get up and grab the instructions. No, I can't, but they're just over there. But actually I'm not going to explain this anymore. I am going to get up and grab the instructions. So I'm just going to go to a graphic for a second so that you don't see me fall over my head. And we're back. Yeah, if I was to red pen the Dragon instructions just to kind of point out the silly little errors in there, it would just be sheets of red paper. But here is a, I mean, here is an example of what we're kind of talking about. Is, let me just zooms in. You get, let's get the model in place. You get one type of photo etched shield in the kit. There's nothing else in the kit at all. It's that you fold it up, you glue it in place. And as you can see, it's a shield with one vision slot and just the gap there for the gun. That's it. That's all there is to it. Go to the instructions, and the first two options, 1 and 2, have the same shield. But you go down to option 3, and immediately, can you see, it's got a completely different shield. You look at the front view, this one's got an additional cutout on it. There's only one photo etch bit in the kit. I don't get it, Dragon. What's going on there? And yeah, there are other, I'm sure if I go through these instructions, there'll probably be, I'm just checking to see whether there are marks and things. Usually I put a mark and a question mark in there. No, it's see, they say don't use these bits, but see, photo etch parts, only one shield, but 2 are shown on the instructions, 2 different styles. I just don't get it. I really don't. But we will get round to finishing that one at some stage. So yeah, I want to get that one. You can see how close I am to finishing it. Also, how close am I to finishing a subject close to my heart, and that is the Fujimi Mini Cooper, which this has had another kind of gloss coat on it. I've denibbed it as much as I can. I've been following the advice of Ian Hartup, and I think that we're going to get to the stage where this is really going to be, that's it. I'm just going to move on from it, and everything that I've learned from this, I will take on to my next car model, of which obviously we do have a next car model because we've got the Tyrrell P34 here. So I think it's going to be a case of just masking that roof and spraying that white and doing the Union. Am I going to do a Union Jack decal on it? I'm not sure. But no, that's probably the best gloss finish I've ever got on a car. So like I say, I'm going to cut my losses. Not perfect. It's not going to go into competition, but it's fine. It'll do. I hate to use that expression, it'll do, because it sounds like I'm just kind of like being a little bit slapdash, but this is a learning curve. And yes, I could cut it down a bit more with some Trizact and you know, put some more color on it, but I want to get this thing finished, let's put it that way. So that will it's going to be a representation of my beloved old green Mini. So and that was, you know, a little bit less than perfect in places. So that's what we're going to do with that. So yes, this is another shelf of doomer that I'm hoping to move along during the BBC prom season. But goodness me, can you see the reflections on that bonnet? I mean, I don't know about you, but for a cack-handed model like me, I'm quite happy with that. So anyway, let's play catch up with the comments. Andy King says, joining in with the Dragon Instruction love, he says Dragon Instruction is pretty bad. The worst ones for me were the 135th SFH 150mm howitzer, and along with the Voyager X set. That project nearly drove me insane. And he also says, I had a Tacom 35th scale Jeep that was just as fiddly and lots of mold pin marks that eventually went to landfill, and I bought a Tamiya one instead, along with an etch set for it. Jim, I like this comment. Jim says Jeeps are like tanks, they drove through the terrain, not over it. And viewer Jared, literally just over the hill from me, he says, funny enough, I have been doing a how-to on our Model Club page on how I go about painting figures. I kind of have a novel technique. Maybe I'll share it over on the IMC community page. Yes, please. Yes, let's have your unique technique, please, Jared. Dave Swindle says afternoon all. Like I say, Dave, if you just joined us, this is just a silly little pop-up live I'm doing because we can't do a live show tonight. Mark Smith sticks the knife in. Westland Whirlwind, he says, question mark, question mark, question mark. Do you know what, Mark? I was so slow on that project. I've actually moved it back up into the attic again. So I know, shocking. And Jim says, for me, it's the Border Models 88mm flat gun. It's dead, Jim. Yeah, I know the feeling. However, we've got more Shelf of Doomers to talk about today. And here's one you probably weren't expecting, actually, because I am going to, again, I'm going to wait for the BBC proms and get this a wiggle on. This was one I started about 5 or 6 years ago. It's the old Airfix Collector Series Pikeman, 32nd scale, 54mm, 32nd scale. Now, I was going to convert this figure into a Pikeman of the Monmouth Rebellion. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Monmouth Rebellion was, it was James, Duke of Monmouth, took up an uprising against James II, who was then the king, and it culminated on the fields just outside Bridgewater in the Sedgemoor area, what is known as the Battle of Sedgemoor, the last pitched battle to be fought on English soil. Suffice to say, Monmouth's men, who were literally an amateur army with pikes and staffs, were routed against the royalist army of James II, and Monmouth ended his days at the Tower, having a severe haircut, I think is the best way of putting it. So I was going to turn this chap into a pikeman of the Monmouth Rebellion, but too much work, and given that given too much work to even build this straight from the box, I decided I'd cut my losses and just build it as a straight from the box build. As you can see, that went well because this is as far as I ever got with it. But the figure is actually primed in white, and that is Tamiya's fine white primer, which is absolutely perfect. We've got the face there, head and face, which have been primed in Tamiya flat flesh, which has been airbrushed on. The arm, oh no, we're not using those arms. That's a different. I'll take them off and put them in the spares box. So, I mean, look, how far are you from finishing it? This is all we've got to do to get it together. We've got the feathers there for the hat. We've got the hat itself. We've got a water bottle, the bag, the sword, paint the face. I mean, again, you know, what is the hold up on this? And there are the painting instructions. So there's a fair amount of leeway there. It's not like you're having to slavishly follow federal standard or British standard colours. So yes, we've got the anniversary of Sedgemoor is coming up in a couple of weeks' time. I know I'm not doing it as a Sedgemoor man, but yeah, I need to get a wiggle on with these, and I'd love to build some more of these. I've got quite a few of these up in the attic. I've got some of the mounted figures. So again, it's just managing your time, really. I mean, I actually wrote about this in my my op-ed for Brett's magazine this morning. I mean, today it's absolutely glorious out there. It's dry, it's glorious. And when I finish this, I'm going out into the garden and sitting next to my sweet peas and have a read. Too many distractions from the workshop. However, we've now passed the summer equinox, which means the nights start drawing in again. Once the nights start drawing in, I'll be spending more time in the workshop. So, but yeah, it behoves me to be outside and enjoy the good weather. I had a month of being in last summer, as some of you may know, last spring rather. So, yeah. And Andy King says, nice to see I'm not the only modeler with stuff on the shelf of Doom for years. Yes. I know. And Shane, good day, Shane. What's up? Odd time to watch. IMC from hospital. Well, Shane, try and stay out of trouble. Give us an update via personal messenger, if you will, because I'll get some stuff in the post to you as well. So, and Mike Williams. Oh, Mike's a bit posh tonight. He says, "Oh, hello. I'm watching from the garden sofa with a G&T." That's how Mike speaks. If you've ever met him, it's absolutely spot on impression that. So, I mean, if I got all the Shelf of Doomers down at the moment, it would be a 4-hour show. So we've got that one to do. Just moving that out of the way. Also, in a similar vein, and this I did tell you I've got several of these. This is a project I started again about this is about 5 years. No, it's over 6 years ago. Originally, this was going to be a Christmas present for my friend Karen in America. Sadly, she passed away in 2008. I spoke to her the night before, and she said to me, "JM, I'm feeling a bit tired. I'm going to go to bed. We'll catch up later in the week." I said, "Yeah, sure, JM." And then early in the morning, I get a call from her brother-in-law to say she'd passed away in her sleep. So, however, this project will be going to her brother-in-law because he used to be a modeler anyway. So how far have we got with this one? Well, we've got a horse that's all glued together and with some surfacer on the seams there. So it's on its way. And what else have we got? Just tip it all out on the workbench. Sorry, sir. We've got the saddle is also putted up. That needed quite a bit of work on it because there were some horrible seams on there. But yeah, we'll get that going. Torso and legs, again, the legs just needed quite a bit of putty on there, but he was a slim chap. But there we go. Why haven't I finished this, for goodness sake? Head of the horse and the mane, that just needs a bit more cleaning up. Arms, obviously, you can tell we're experts here. And there's George's head with his ponytail. So, yes, that is one I really want to get this one finished and in the post for Christmas. Incidentally, this back in the days, remember these flyers that Airfix used to put in their kits? Airfix means so much more. Games, flight deck, always wanted that as a kid. Weebles, actually not their own invention. I think that was a product that they brought in, and also joined the Airfix Modelers Club as well. Goodness me, I never did. But all this stuff is still intact in the complaint slip as well. Goodness me. The sheet of plastic card that you got with the 32nd scale figures, including the multi-poses as well. And that was the imprint on the inside there. It's a bit odd that it says George Washington 1732 to 1799, but that's on the underside of the base. So I don't expect to see that. Yeah, so again, this is another Shelf of Doomer, and beautiful instructions from these kits. Like I say, I've got several of these collector's series. What they were, as far as I can tell, they were Airfix's attempt to counter Hysterex, which was gaining ground at the time. So, yeah. But, again, beautiful illustrations. I mean, yeah, there's going to be no FS color matching there. That's just going to be grabbing Vallejo off the shelf and choosing colors I like the look of. Not too keen about doing the leopard skin thing on the saddle thing there, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But yeah, it's going to be an experiment, this, because like I say, I'm not a figure painter, I'm not a figure modeler, and yeah, we've still got some work to do on that. Again, that might turn into kind of like an autumn project. When the nights start drawing in, it's something for me to get my teeth into. Top of all the Telford builds, obviously. Andy King says, I've got that George Washington kit, but there are a couple of bits missing that I need to make from scratch. Okay. Unfortunately, I think I've only got the one kit, Andy. I think I got that one from Avon Scale Model Show, which I do declare I think is on in about 6 weeks' time. So, isn't it? See, this is the thing. You get past the equinox, and technically, it's like this year. Technically, summer started officially on June the 21st, the day after all the nights start drawing in. But yeah, you get to June and the summer, and you think, oh, great, the big long summer is in front of us. Then the BBC Proms starts, and then before you know it, it's last night the Proms, and you're into the autumn. So, I mean, I'm not complaining. I love the autumn. So anyway, let's have a quick swig of the tea. Right. This next one isn't so much a shelf of doomer, as I tend to have projects that I've kind of built, and then they're set aside for when I need to do something with paint. So in this case, this is the Tamiya M3 Stuart, their original one. Now, I started building this, 5 years ago when the new kit came out? Is it 5-6 years ago when the new kit came out? Was going to have the pair of them at Telford together. However, we ran out of time, but I carried on building this one. And I do declare this has been primed and given a blast of olive drab. It's also been given like a test for a weathering texture on the underside. But this one is up to a stage whereby I can, as soon as I've got some paints or some paint effects to try out, I've got a painted model ready to go. So that's why that one is currently in this form. So it's not being built to a deadline. It's not being built specifically to a purpose, but it's there should I need something as a test bed or as a painting bed. What have we got here? We've got the rest of the decal sheet. We've got bits of the M10 tank destroyer in here. Forgot I built that one. There's a thing. We've got a sprue of figures by Tamiya. I think that's that might be the ones from the M10. We've got some other bits and pieces. We've got he's going in for a repaint. We've got the Commander figure. It's not one of Tamiya's best, and it certainly isn't one of my best painting jobs. I'm just looking at it away from the camera. It's horrible. It's absolutely no. We're going to strip that one down and start again. But that's, like I say, this doesn't really have a purpose. This is a test bed for paints and stuff. I mean, I do get sent paints to test every now and then. So to have something to hand that I can just blitz with paint is rather handy. And on a similar note, up on the shelf over there, I've got the Tamiya Grant, which I built. It's pre-COVID, so it's going to be 5 years ago. Yeah, I'm just thinking that. Yeah, 5 years ago. So yeah, we've got that's just covered in primer. That's there so that as soon as I've got some paints to try on it, I'll try them. But apart from that, it doesn't have a purpose. So a bit like me. Anyway, where else? I'm not going to do the Tyrrell because we're doing that as part of the challenge. My AMX, I'm still hoping to get hold of a canopy so that I can finish this one off. What's interesting is that this was given a coat of Tamiya fine grey primer a few months ago. It's how the seams have started to ghost through the primer. So, so what we'll do then is I'll I'll just get some Scotch-Brite and just polish everything down. Itchy nose. It's like a bit of hay fever, I think. Yeah, so it's just a case of going in there with the Scotch-Brite and just polishing the seams down. But oh, the rudder's fallen off. I'm rudderless, quite literally. But I want to get this finished off because it's a beautiful model, and I actually think it's one of Italeri's best kits in years. I know Drew built it, and I think he was reasonably impressed with it. So yeah, I definitely want to get a wiggle on with that and get it finished and on display at Telford for this year. So yeah, there we go. I know, me building aircraft, there's a thing. And we've already done one kind of Stuart variant. This was another one that was started at Telford. A lot of ghosts of Telford following me around today. This is Tamiya's 148th M20 howitzer. Beautiful kit. I mean, I'm not kidding. That was built at Telford pretty much to that amount of completion. I'm just having a look to see where the turret is. I hope the turret is in here. Oh no, the turret's just there. No, the turret is over on the workbench, over on the other workbench by the spray booth. Oh well, no, I'm not going to go up and get it. So yeah, I think this has just been given a blast of olive drab from something, but the plan there would be to go at it with some shading and then knock it all back again. Might even do a pop-up live doing that actually. So yeah, this will get finished for Telford because I certainly don't want to go to Telford with models here that I started at the show last year. It's a Tamiya kit. What can I say? It's an absolute piece of cake to build. Absolutely beautiful. I know Spence built this kit, I think last year or the year before last. We've got the figure here. Zenithal shading, zenithal priming rather. So I'm trying that out. So yes, we're going to paint the figure with that. Just need to get a wiggle on and finish it. And this is why I'm as much as I'd like to, I've got new projects here to start. Not starting them until I've made a clearance of some of these. I've got that Italeri Bedford truck to build for Telford, but we ain't touching that until we've got the Tyrrell P34 Challenge out of the way and get some of these out of the way as well. What else from the shelf of Doomas? Just having a quick look around. Oh no, this isn't the shelf of Dooma, but this is one that is one of the recent ones that I started, and some of you will know. That's the Airfix Quick Build Sherman, and I wanted to build it, do a couple of minor kind of tweaks to it, nothing major, just minor tweaks to it, and then see whether or not we could pass it off as a regular injection, a regular injection molded kit. There are a few kind of tells here and there. The tracks, because they're working tracks, they are a little bit clunky. And we have, in true interesting modeling company style, some of the other deficits we have tried to hide with mud. So especially on the drive sprocket there was quite a gap, not a gap, a working feature there, shall we say, and on the idler as well. So those have judiciously been covered in mud. And we've got some more down there. You're probably thinking, why have you covered it in mud and sprayed it olive drab? Well, the thing there is we're then going to take the running gear. All this underside is just going to be sprayed a dark earth tan color. It's just going to be one overall muddy color. Then we're going to go in and pick out areas with darker tones and lighter tones, just to give that impression of fresh and dried mud. So it's honestly, it's just an experiment to see how much do you have to do in terms of detail painting and how little can you get away with. The reason why I'm saying that is, in times gone by, I would have built a kit like this, a standard kit like this, painted the wheels separately, done everything by the book. Then by the time I've got round to weathering, I've lost all that. So it's, do you have to go that far in the first instance? I've also noticed that actually that's a bit naughty. I think I really do need to deal with those seams at the back of the turret there. I need to check my books. I think there is an actual seam on that, but I don't think there should be one just there by that eyelet. So, and again, that kind of betrays the simplicity of this kit, is that the eyelets are all solid, but it's essentially, and I'm not being dismissive, essentially it's a kid's toy thing. But it's a kid's toy thing that's been carefully crafted to actually look like a Sherman rather than rather than an approximation of one. And I don't know about you, but I do think that looks like a Sherman Firefly. It's the look of it is there. So anyway, that's another one that we're going to be working on. Get that one finished for Telford. So that's essentially it. It's like I say, it's a oh, did I say, what did I say? Did I say M20? Tony Sturridge has M8. I said M20. M8 howitzer. He's asking what happened to the Mini Art 3-wheeler. The Mini Art 3-wheeler is over there on the shelf. Bear with. Because I'm mic'd up, I don't like moving around a bit too much, so I don't want to drag the MacBook with me. So we'll be back in a second. Ooh. Ta-da! We're back. What happened to the Mini Art 3-wheeler? Mini Art 3-wheeler is still being worked on. Not very quickly, but it is still being worked on. What's in the Mini Art 3-wheeler box? A turret for an M8 howitzer. Right, here we go. Here we go. I started this one prior to my induction into using Trizact with Ian, so might go back and do a little bit of tweaking with this one. But as you can see, we've actually got colour on the body, and I've decided to do the blue one. Yeah, I could probably do with Trizacting some of this and going back and giving it another coat of blue. But essentially, because I've stripped everything down and got rid of the sprues that I don't need now, we've got the engine's been part painted, so it's been masked. So we've just got some additional painting to do on that. The interior has been painted. There is my, he said modestly, there is my beautiful leather seat there. I'm really pleased with that. Probably the best thing I've done on this model. And yeah, I just need to get this P34 out of the way, and then we can kind of go back to that. So yes, this stuff just needs a bit of Trizacting. I'm conscious of the fact that on the bonnet there is a tiny little hook that sits on the top there. It's a photo etch part that has obviously launched itself into another plane. It should be in the box here. If not, it should be in one of the bags here. But yeah, it's just, this is one of those shapes that just makes it awkward to awkward to kind of paint, really. Just having a look in the box. Yep. So yeah, there we go, Tony. What happened to the Mini Art 3-wheeler? There is the Mini Art 3-wheeler. I promise you, we will get that one finished. I think what perhaps we're gonna have a Shelf of Doomer season or something. Oh, we've got a number plate has launched itself onto the lid there. I think we should have a Shelf of Doomer season, and I don't know about you folks. I think Shelf of Doomer September has a certain has a nice ring to it. It all depends. Yeah, Andy King says, anyone interested in showing their Shelf of Doom models? Perhaps we'll set up a gallery on the Facebook page. We will do a Shelf of Doom. Yeah, let me just check to see when scrolls up. I need to check the branding here. When does the P34 challenge end? The P34 challenge ends. Andy, get out of the way, mate. Come on. You're blocking everybody's view of the of the poster there. Goodness me, you can't take him anywhere. There we go. There we go, folks. The P34 challenge ends at the end of August, so it's about just over 8 weeks away. So I think we go into September with Shelf of Doom September. I don't know how you feel about that, but we'll throw that one out onto the Facebook page a bit later on. See what the reaction is. Anyway, so that's it. Like I say again, I do apologise for the lack of a proper live show tonight. Drew was all ready to do it, albeit he wasn't going to get home until 7 o'clock, and he couldn't do it earlier. So essentially, it's all Drew's fault, really. So but yeah, so yeah, we're doing kind of like my wildlife show tonight. And like I say, unfortunately, we need to have the guests on to do that, and we can only do one of the guests tonight. So anyway, so and they can only do it between 7:30 and 8:30, so we couldn't do it later. However, for those of you who are asking, yes, there will be ghost stories at 8:30. So there we go. I'm just going to leave you to it. Now, Andy King says, this is Shelf of Doom September. Do you know what? I've just suddenly realised do you know what the acronym of Shelf of Doom September is? I'll let you lot figure that one out. It's perfect. Hashtag. But Andy King says, sounds good to me as I have loads to choose from. Yeah, I'm just having a look here. I've got quite a few to choose from as well. So yeah. Anyway, look, all go away and either watch the football or go and enjoy yourselves outside. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go outside and sit next to the sweet peas and read a magazine. So we will hopefully do another pop-up live during the week. Until then, as always, stay safe, stay out of trouble, and we'll see you very, very soon. So enjoy your weekend, folks. Bye for now.